Hi, Shelina. That's Monica throwing away a can. and I'm Jade. And we're here to tell you about Kids Church. So, we've been learning about the armor of God, and I wanted to show you visually instead of typing you an email, because that's boring. So we did the belt of truth first, and we learned that Batman has his weapons on his belt so that they're always at hand, ready to fight his enemies. So we need to have the truth at hand, always ready to fight our enemies. So I talked about Batman, and then Monica talked about Jesus when he fought Satan in the wilderness with the Word of God. And then for our craft, we made a belt. So we got black felt and yellow felt, and we cut out like the Batman logo in the yellow one, and then cut this one into strips. So you can make 4 out of 1 piece of felt, and they're like 3 cents. And we made belts for that, and then we would tuck these little guns in. These were 8 for like $2. So those are super cheap craft for the Batman belt. And then we had popcorn, but we labeled it with like a pop thing, like a comic book. So it was like popcorn, but not like popcorn, but like popcorn. And then we did the breastplate of righteousness, which is next in Ephesians. So we learned that if you protect your heart, you'll do and love the right things. And the breastplate protects your heart. We learned about Iron Man, how his actually legitimately protects his heart. Because I don't know if you've seen the movie, but there's a shrapnel on his way to his heart. On the way to his heart. You're so dumb. Anyway, on the way to his heart. And his breastplate actually magnetizes it away from his heart, so it actually protects his heart like ours should. And then we learned about Joseph, how he was willing to do the right thing even if it took him to prison and slavery and all that jazz. And we made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Either we had options, so we had like grape jelly or strawberry jelly or peanut butter and marshmallow cream, so they got to choose their ingredients. And then we cut it into a heart because you're protecting your heart. And then we did the shoes of peace. So we learned that with your shoes, you need to be able to stand your ground and be firm, but you also need to be ready to go wherever God says. So, because of the shoes of the gospel of peace, so you need to go and spread the good news. So Flash is always ready to go, and he very rarely falls because he's always standing his ground, and he has shoes on. And then Esther, shoes ready to go wherever God said. So even if that meant into the king's room to, come on, Monica, get with the program. Even if that meant going into the king's room and, or, his throne room and risking her life, she was willing to do it. And then we went on Word, and I just got, you can click on like the insert clip art or whatever, and it makes like a lightning bolt, like a so we printed up like 8 of those on the Word thing, and then you put a hole in them, and you just put them on your shoelaces so that there's like a lightning bolt on your shoes. It'd be really easy to explain if you ask me about it later. But and then we did the shield of faith, and we learned that with faith you believe in what you can't see. So we reiterated the gospel stories. So talked about how Jesus died for us and rose again, and even though we can't see it, that we believe it, and when we believe it, we get to go to heaven. We also reiterated that all of this armor is invisible. We're fighting an invisible enemy. You can't actually see it, but if you believe it and you're fighting the right battle and you're on the right team, then you're good. And so we learned about Captain America because he has the cool shield that looks like that. And we learned about, how no one could see that he was strong. I don't know if you've seen that movie either, but on Captain America, no one believed that he was strong because he's a little pansy dude. But the one dude who believed in it is the one that turned him into a superhero. What are you drawing? Okay, anyway. And then Monica talked about Moses, how when he had to take his people through the desert, there were a lot of distractions and a lot of hard times and things like that, but he always believed that the promised land was coming, even though he couldn't see it at the moment, and that's what got them there. We made shields. I got a poster board and cut it into 3. We just traced a big bowl and made 3 circles, and then we put them outside with, we got sponges, and we cut them into, like if the rectangle, we cut it into 2 strips, so that you can like, I don't know how to explain it. We like pulled the sponge like that and drew the red circles. And then we got one of the sponges and cut a star, put it in the middle, and painted blue around the star. And then they could also make their own logos if they wanted to. Most of them did that, but some of them did their own superhero logos. Garbage bag. Oh, and we covered them with garbage bags. Like we made, show them.
We cut the top off, or like technically the bottom. We cut the bottom off, and then the sides, and we stuck it on there, and so they're like all their body was covered except their heads and their little arms.
And why did we do that?
So that they would not get paint on it, even though one kid got paint on his baby brother's dedication day.
It was super great. But the last time we did something messy, we got in a lot of trouble. So we learned that if you don't let the kids get messy, it helps everything. But we're also young, so we can't get away with as much as an adult. But the helmet of salvation was next. That's what we learned this week, actually. So we learned about Thor, because he has this cool helmet. And then we learned about Eve, because she didn't wear the helmet that protected her brains from the lies. So when Satan lied to her, she made everything fall apart, and that's why we have sin today. So if she would have worn her helmet, everything would have been better. We made a helmet out of a template we found on Disney's website, because Disney is in association with the people who made the Thor movie. So I can forward you that link, and you just print it up, and it's just tape and scissors that are needed to cut it up and make a cool helmet that looks just like Thor's. And then we also got apples, and we made like apples with brains. So we have the whole apple. We just cut off the very top of it so that it looks like a head, like she's about to draw. And then we got like Ziploc baggies and put peanut butter in them and cut out the corner so that they squirted it all over, and it made like peanut butter brains on top of the apple head. Yeah, just like that. So they got to make the brains however they wanted with the peanut butter they were given. And then eat it. So to protect their brains coming, out of the head. and then next week we're learning about the sword of the Spirit. So all of the other all of the other armor is to protect yourself from Satan's attacks. This one is actually to fight back. So this one's the only offensive, where all the others are defensive. We're learning about Hawkeye. He's in the Avengers movie also. He's the one with the bow and arrows. So we're making mini bow and arrows that we found on Pinterest.com, which is that website I was talking about with all the crafts and stuff. I can send you that link also. But we are making little ones. They're actually like only this little. But you can make little ones, or you can make ones that are like